The other agent said they'll charge 6.5%. I meet with them. I'll be like, oh, I'll charge you 5.5%. Great, we got a deal.
Yeah.
That person went to high school with them. It's a best friend of them. They're willing to throw that relationship.
Yeah, I love when people are like, they're a best friend. You're like, well, you know, my experience is this is a business decision about who can help you net the most and do it quickly and efficiently. So it always makes sense to get more than one opinion with regards to strategy, price, and commission. I'm wondering, do you think that would be helpful or useful? Watch that friendship get diminished to nothing. Well, you know, we haven't been friends for that long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The question was, are we competing with iBuyers?
Yeah.
And that's diminished dramatically. So in 2021, I was going up against Opendoor frequently. Their strategy has changed. You know what they're saying? We're your best friends. Fucking 12 months ago, they're sending stuff in the mail like, fuck those agents, you don't need them. The marketplace has changed and their marketing budgets have shrunk and they're all shrinking. So it's much less. And what I would say to people in those instances is like, well, you know, I'm aware that in that particular business model, their goal and objective is to buy your home.
To make a profit.
To make a profit. And I would much rather you have the profit. So I know this is a business decision about getting the most and who can do it quickly and efficiently. And as such, it usually makes sense to get more than one opinion just to make sure you're making the best choice. Does that make sense to you? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great. So if we were to get together under normal conditions, would you be available in the evenings or the afternoons? And I just close for an appointment.
So the way that I usually handle that is, well, look, the difference between Opendoor and myself is that Opendoor is a home buying company, which means they have to make a profit in order to keep existing in business. Unfortunately, that means that they have to buy your home at a discount and sell it at a higher price. But what's stopping you from making that profit instead of having them? So here's what we can do. If you want to still keep that option open, we can exclude Opendoor from any agreement that you and I have.
Yeah.
We could put it on the market and we can see the most that a buyer's willing to pay. And if for whatever reason I'm not able to get you what you want, you can go back to Opendoor.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, Opendoor actually has fees associated with their sales. Did you know that?
5%.
Yeah, and not only that, they
Minus
actually
repair
lost
costs.
a lawsuit where they had to pay $70 million for false advertising. Did you know that? Which is fucking true. Google it. Because they were saying that they could get people more money than agents could. And they got caught in that and had to pay $70 million for lying. Oh, and by the way, Zillow lost $750 million using their algorithms to buy property.
Now, in some cases, would Opendoor offer a ridiculously high price and even after net is more than what you can get them?
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, that's a great offer.
I think you should go with it. I did that multiple times.
When you have enough business, you lose less attachment to the individual deal. Like I had a client very early on in my career as a for sale by owner. And he was like, well, I want to sell, wasn't factoring in capital gains. I told him, not a good idea to sell. He sold 3 properties in his career. Sometimes you're not the best option for them.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, and think about this. I want you guys to like kind of burn
That'll actually earn you more business.
Yeah, and I want you to burn this into your brain. When you generate, you don't have to tolerate. When you generate, you don't have to tolerate. So if you're generating like in prospecting on a regular basis, you don't have to tolerate like people's stuff. And to Jose's point, you'll earn a client for life by telling them the truth. Hold on, we got 2. So let's go here and then we'll come back over here.
The contract, do you do it on your iPad or is it a physical?
No, physical.
Physical.
That's the one thing that I like to bring with me and I like to get it signed. I just like it better that way. And then the other thing that I have is I have a bunch of blank contracts with no names, no commissions, no dates in my car in case I get a phone call and somebody says, I want to list my property with you. I've got a bunch of blank ones. So you'll see some of my listing agreements where they're filled out, handwritten, because what? Somebody wants to sell their home with me today. I am ready to go.
He's prepared. Even when I would go and it's filled out, I always leave the commission blank. And I leave it blank on the next sheet.
Yeah, I always do. Because it's going to require a conversation about it in some cases, you know?
Almost all the time, guys. Unless it's your best friend. And even then they might ask you about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always going to be an issue.
I know you mentioned that you offer like a ton of services for your 6%. That's great. Like, staging or, cleaning or box guy or moving truck, et cetera. That's, it's really awesome. My question is, how do you feel offering all those services? Like, do you ever take a listing and offer all of that for a discounted, like below 6%? And second question, would you feel comfortable offering all that, like thousands and thousands of dollars of value for someone who maybe wants to, start high and then go low?
Yeah. So everything is a business decision. I don't look at the commission like a percentage. I look at it dollar amount. Like what's the dollar amount that I'm comfortable with, you know? Because we as real estate agents have all these rules that other people have created for us
that
don't exist in the real world. Like, you're your own business owner and you get to decide. For me, for a long time, like 20,000, 15,000 was a good commission for me. So I've even done like flat fees for people. Like, hey, like, let's do a flat fee, 15 grand, you know? So as it relates to offering the services, yeah, I have offered them.
Yeah, and I think the philosophy behind it is I want to
there are no rules.
Yeah, and I want to add more value. So it's interesting. It's like I'm worried about like a couple $1,000 when I can make 20,000.
Yeah.
It's like you know what I mean?
So about the being overpriced, it's all about the motivation.
Yes.
Right?
I think we have time for maybe one more.
Yeah.
One more question, comment, concern, observation. Yes, Peter.
What do you feel about the strategy some realtors use, whether it's their own money or they're working with an investor to say, we guarantee the sale, because if it doesn't sell, we'll buy it?
Yeah, I think it's great, because what I think happens is like if your product or service is not differentiated from others, you become commoditized and trapped. Okay? Hey, newsflash, we all have the same photographers.
No, my photographer's better.
Oh, it's so much better.
No, but we all have those, but it's how you sell the photographer.
But do you see what I'm saying?
If you're really good at selling that photographer, your photographer perceived value could be better.
And we all put it in the MLS, which actually does what?
So the money is in the
selling of the service, right?
It's how you sell the service.
Right. So, but the idea is to Peter's question is like, we all do the same thing. So if I don't have a way of differentiating, then I get commoditized and trapped. So making bold, aggressive offers creates perceived value in the minds of the consumer, and it separates you from others. It's just that we don't have the intestinal fortitude and we don't understand the risk reward ratio.
Now,
so if I said to you, if I was like, hey, I guarantee you that I'll sell your house in 30 days. Otherwise, I'll pay your utility bills until we do. You might be like, really? That seems like a huge risk that I'm taking on this huge risk. But we're going to have a conversation about price. And what's the probability that it'll sell within 30 days? Pretty high. Not only that, if you had to pay 2 utility bills that are $400 and you make 30,000, would you give a shit? No.
It's a business decision.
But you guys are so like, this is my money. You don't want to fucking spend a nickel. You understand? So, or if you said, I guarantee you that I'll sell your home. Out of 2,000 homes that I listed, we went back and looked, only 10% of the time when I took a listing did it not sell. It's a 90% chance that that's not going to happen. Not only that, we get to set the terms and conditions. So if I said to you, look, I guarantee you I'll sell your house within the listing agreement, and if I don't, I'll give you $3,000 for the inconvenience. That's bold. But guess what? I can decide the listing agreement has to be 6 months. I can also decide that you have to use a professional photographer. You have to let me use a lockbox. You see what I'm saying? I get to decide the terms and conditions.
You make your rules.
If you add that all up, that bold, aggressive offer, look, I guarantee you that I'll sell your home. I also guarantee that I'll do it within 30 days. And if I don't, I'll pay you your utilities until we do. And I guarantee you that we'll sell it within the listing agreement. And if I don't, I'll give you $2,000 for the inconvenience. That seems super aggressive. But is it actually? Is it really that risky? No. Not only that, if I got 10 listings and one of them, I had to pay the $2,000, would you pay $2,000? What's your average commission?
Like 18.
18,000. Would you pay $2,000 to make 180 grand? Why do you think all those billboards are up? Because they work.
We need to think more like business owners.
You see, that's what gets the phone to ring. Well, you mean to tell me, partner, you're going to pay $2,000 if you don't sell my house? That's right. You know, one of the challenges with agents is that they're not willing to put their money where their mouth is. It sounds like that's what you're looking for in an agent. Is that right? Say yes. You know what the great news is? You found what you're looking for. May I make a suggestion? Boom, set an appointment. But now I get to pre-qual and I get to decide, A, if I want to go, B, if it's worth my time, C, I get to decide the terms and conditions. Does that make sense?
I'm looking at your house like a business. In order for me to get you the outcome that you want, I have to invest into it. Most of the agents don't want to do that. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Would you give me the opportunity to work with you?
Or I'm curious, is that the type of agent that you're looking for? Yes. Well, the great news is you found him. Let's go to work. Not only that, what people don't know is it only costs him $500 to do that because he bought all
more than that now.
Whatever it is. What is it? 1,000?
It's like $1,500.
$1,500, but he also spent $200,000 on furniture. You understand? It's a competitive advantage that people can't compete with. They're not willing to outlay the $3,000 a month to stage the damn thing, but he can do it for whatever it is, $1,500 each time. I think that's good on questions, comments, concerns. I'm wondering, before we clap, because it was dope, I'm wondering, did you guys get clear on strategy and tactically what you need to do?
Yes.
Yes. Was this a productive and valuable use of your non-refundable precious breaths? Yes. And that's what we're here for. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here with us. That's what we're all about at the Elite Builders, is adding tremendous value as much as we possibly can. And the thing that I want to ask you guys now is a question about like exit strategy, right? Because I was selling homes, 2,000 homes, 100 a year for 10 years. I did 200 deals a year twice. And I had no real way to get off that transaction treadmill, right? I was using money. One of the intelligent things I did is I took 50% to 40% of everything I earned every year and I invested it into things that pay me money, okay? What I'm aware of is that works, it just takes a long time. And I don't know about you guys, I want it to happen faster. So it wasn't until me and Jose discovered a vehicle that gave us an exit strategy. I want you guys to realize something. A year ago, I was selling 150 homes, working 70 hours a week. Now, what sacrifices do I have to make to do that? Time. And who suffers for that? Period. There's no way around it. These people are like, oh, you're balanced. I'm like, that's horseshit. If you want to do big things, you're not going to be balanced. So my kids are 13 and 10. I have 5 more summers with my son and 8 more with my daughter. Do you know 90% of all the time that you spend with your kids are up until the time they're 18? People get 27,550 days on planet Earth. It's 75 years in the industrialized world. I'm 42. I've used half. If I sleep 8 hours a day, I'm going to sleep through the third of whatever's left. It happens quick. Okay? So it wasn't until I found this vehicle, I now am no longer, now I work Monday through Thursday and have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Only because we found this vehicle. So our intention in sharing this with you is because we sincerely want the same thing for you. Okay? And what we're doing is not unique. It's this model that's unique. A model that gives you equity. A model that gives you rev share. A model that, caps your commissions to where you're keeping more of what you're earning. And that's why it's revolutionizing. And that's what we're going to go over together as a team.
How you doing, brother? Yo, I was thinking today, I'm getting excited, bro. I'm going to get a chance to hang out with you here shortly.
I know. You'll be in town next week, so.
I know.